For the purpose of this discussion post, I chose to read and analyze Mark Noll's 5th chapter of his book, America's God, from Jonathan Edwards to Abraham Lincoln, specifically the chapter titled Christian Republicanism. According to Noll, there is an inseparable connection between Christian ideology of early America and their beliefs about republicanism. He claims that a lot of this connection comes from the teachings and ideologies of the Presbyterian and Baptist teachers, especially in the back country of areas like South Carolina. This is not a unique idea to Noll. A similar concept is put forth by Stokes in his journal article, The Presbyterian Clergy in South Carolina and the American Revolution. Stokes points out that this Presbyterian clergy were by very nature dissenters and heavily fearful of any sort of popish influences. They taught extensively about liberal ideas such as freedom of individuals, and they got rid of the hierarchy that was so common in the Anglican Church and gave the people a concept of leading from within their own ranks rather than looking up to someone who was ordained by God to be a head over them. In the article Hippocrates' Twins, Religion and Politics in the American Revolution, Patricia Bonami continues this similar idea, showing that in these Presbyterian churches they had a very democratic practice in their church governance, and their identity as dissenters made them very sympathetic to ideas of republicanism and to the concept of dissenting from their allegiance to the King of England. All of this concept of liberty created an idea that to serve any king other than Jesus was in the symbol of the Antichrist and potentially popish, something that they came to apply not only to the Catholic Church, but to anything that recognized a king of a similar standing to that which should only go to Jesus. Interestingly, Noll points out that this combination of Christian ideology and republicanism was not the same in America and in other countries. Outside of America, in fact, exposure to revolutions and Republican ideologies tended to be something that distanced people who claimed to be Christians from political activism. They wanted to look inwards and focus more on their spirituality, whereas in America, they felt that there was no way to differentiate the two, because if you let go of your civil liberty, then you could lose your religious liberty. This is potentially tightly drawn to the fact that many of the Protestants in America came directly as a result of loss of their religious liberty in other countries. Noll makes the point that it was not always done out of a sense of literal religious belief. Some men like Thomas Paine were using these religious ideologies to promote republicanism while not believing them themselves, and thus convinced a lot of people. But for the majority of Americans, these Christian beliefs were tightly entwined with their feelings about liberty.